Hey, Pink Pill. All right, so we're going to jump right into this video. I'm learning that you guys like for me to get right straight to the point. So, on the community tab a couple weeks ago, I posted a question about patriarchy. I asked you, do you want to throw the whole thing away? Or, while flawed, do you still want to keep the system? Do you want to keep it as it stands, even if it's flawed? I wasn't sure what the responses were going to be from you, and I was actually surprised by them. 37% of you said, throw the whole thing away. 63% of you said, while flawed, I'm sticking with patriarchy. And there was a lot of outrage in the comments. Like we're going to quote some of them. There's a lot of outrage there. But what that told me was, knowing my audience, if I have an idea, what that told me was your idea of a benevolent patriarch who protects, provides, produces, and does what he's supposed to do so life is easier for you. I get it. That's the goal. That's the ideal. But is that the reality in our current climate, the way things are? Can this really even be achievable? I wanted to get somebody else in on this conversation. My friend Nichole, who also runs a channel by the same name, is a coach, and she coaches attractive women on how to get traditional men if that is something that they want. Nichole, thank you for joining. I have a lot of questions. Were you surprised that so many Black women in particular still want patriarchy? What is that about? What's your feedback?
Well, hello. Thank you for having me. You're such a graceful host. I'm not surprised at all because they're still women. And if they're feminine, of course they want patriarchy. So,
Okay, but all right, let's go with that for a second. So, feminine women want patriarchy because life is hard, right? The idea of going through life where you have to be completely on your own and self-sufficient, the conversations about 50-50 would be completely eliminated if patriarchy is off the table. Like, those two things, whether or not you do coffee dates, whether or not you will accept a man who makes a certain amount of money, all of that would go away if patriarchy went away. There's a lot of conversations about throwing it all away. Do you know what people want to replace it with, Nichole?
I don't even want to know what they want to replace it with. What I do know is that without patriarchy, and there's no system that's perfect. Let's be honest. There's no system that's perfect. Marriage is not perfect because the people in it are not perfect. Patriarchy is not perfect because the people practicing it are not always where they need to be. But without patriarchy, we experience masculinity in whole. And with a man, we experience it in part because we get to be in our role and our soft life and rest in our femininity and all of these cliches that we've been embracing for the last 5 years. We get to be in those roles because we experience masculinity in part. And we only have to access the masculine part of us when necessary, when necessary. So without patriarchy, guess what? We got to be feminine and masculine.
And masculine. We have to be both. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so some women, shout out to them. They're comfortable with that. They've had to do it for survival. They've done it because they choose to, for all various reasons. It's very nuanced why some women are doing both. But for the majority of women that took your poll, that's not where they want to be physically. That's not where they want to be in whole.
Yeah. No, definitely. Black women have been taking on the role of both masculine and feminine for a long time. And I would have to ask, how's that working out for us? However, one of the commenters from the conversation said that white women are really the only ones that can actually experience traditional patriarchy where they benefit from a benevolent patriarch who has the resources. Black women will have some Frankenstein hybrid in that they will have to do the work of feminism while still have the oppressing aspects of patriarchy. In our community, a lot of men are like, I want a traditional woman. I want her to be on my program. I hate that. I hate that term, on my program. And and want the 1950s version of what they believe patriarchy is about. They want to cosplay the Leave It to Beaver family. Is that even something that's possible? Tia, you joined us.
Hey, Pink. Anybody else? Is it just us?
Yeah, so Nicole is here. Nichole Michelle is here. I wanted to have somebody here also, Tia, who is are you a Gen Z or a millennial? Nichole says that you are on the high end of millennial, you're late Gen millennial, early Gen Z. Where how old are you and which generation are you?
I'm 29. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm 29 and I am a millennial. But if I was born 2 years later, I would have been Gen Z.
Okay. So before we move on to this conversation, Tia, as I mentioned, 37% of my viewership said throw patriarchy away. 67% said while it's flawed, I still get some benefit. Nichole and I are both Gen X. We still believe that there is some semblance of benefit of patriarchy. But you are not. You are of the generation where you guys want to abolish all the systems, all the institutions, and everything else. What say you about this poll? Do you feel like this is, yeah, what do you feel about it? Is it in line with what the women in your generation are saying, or is it totally different?
Um, I think it's in line with what most of the women in my generation are saying.
That they want it or they don't want it?
They don't want it. So they're more of
Why?
the 37%.
Okay, so all right, so let's get on that. What do they want to replace it with?
Um, Freedom, pretty much. That's from my perspective, what I hear. They want to replace it with freedom, the ability to do whatever it is that they want to do. Like, if they want to get married, they can get married. If they don't want to get married, they don't. They they don't care. And the men definitely don't want to practice patriarchy because they don't want to do anything.
Nichole, what do you
They don't
say?
want the responsibility of patriarchy. For real.
What do you
Tia?
say? What do you say, Nichole?
I would say, you know what? I think speaking for someone who's well into my 40s, I would say the Gen Z beautiful women aren't tired of working yet. I would
Say that again. Okay, hold on. Stop the show. I just want to take a moment and say this. In a world where there are no strong men, are you really going to be sexually attracted? Because let me tell you something. Being with a cooperative guy who's like, oh, we'll go 50-50, coffee dates. I'll pay half of everything. We'll just be partners, 50-50 all the way, does not put the satin in my panties. Does it for you? Think about that for a little bit. The more masculine a man is, the more ability that he shows to be able to protect and provide for me, it arouses me. It makes me more sexy. It makes me want to. So if all that is gone, what will you be attracted to when it comes to men? It's just a question. Let's get back to the show. Okay, so do you understand that like if you throw it all away, 50-50 coffee dates is going to be a thing? if you want to have children, you're going to have to budget some kind of investment account so you can take time off. There's going to be no expectation for protection. And even if you get rid of patriarchy, because people will say, well, patriarchy is so dangerous. Even if you get rid of patriarchy, men still have testosterone. Men still can still be violent. Men still can be out of pocket. And without patriarchy, the men in our society, if they're not directly related to you, are going to feel no obligation at all to be chivalrous and protect you. There will be no assumption of protection, even though whether or not the system is in place or not, men still have testosterone and they're still going to do what men do. What do you guys have to say to that?
To be honest, I don't necessarily believe that we need it. Like,
Mm.
there's other forms of ways to protect yourself. Um, to be honest, with this testosterone thing, I believe that um I'm more of like a matriarchal type of woman, but I would never say that to a man. I believe that the more controlling he is, the easier it is for me to control him, just by making him believe that he's in control.
Well, that's clever, but that's something that women have been doing for years and years. Nichole, you said,
Yeah.
yeah. So Nichole, what do you say to this? So say that to this, she is a younger generation than us. What's your take on what she's saying? Besides, they're not tired yet.
Well, yeah. Every generation. If we look back when we were in our younger early 20s, I got married at 23. Before that, I was doing my thing, right? So, I mean, they're at that age where they're doing their thing. They're trying to find out there's what kind of woman they are, what they like. They're experiencing life. So I really don't fault them. The spearheads to the feminist movement were older women. It wasn't younger women. And I think as women mature and they start really experiencing life and really getting out here and understanding male female dynamics, they will formulate where they actually will end up and where they'll land on the chessboard. But it's in terms of me and patriarchy, baby, the bad I don't really have to deal with because those men get rejected fairly easy. And that's what I instruct women to do. Bad men get rejected, period, on their face, because I'm not going to fight anybody's wars. I'm not getting ready to climb tall buildings and to build skyscrapers, and I'm certainly not going below ground to do nothing down there either. I'm not doing anything to risk my life. I'm going to be above ground, pretty and comfortable and air conditioned. So you all that want to down with patriarchy, I guess you all are going to build the skyscrapers because I'm not. Good luck with that.
Right. Or, yeah, I mean, it's just even the hard stuff, like, in the household, there's certain things that I'm just like, babe, can you do this? Because I don't have any desire nor inclination
Exactly.
to want to do that. So, like, the idea, though, is if you are more matriarchal, that means that all the policies, laws, procedures, everything are geared towards the benefit of women. How do you think that on a wider scale would work? Tia, do you think that men would ever cede power of patriarchy and say, let the women handle it? Let them be in charge.
I don't think so. Maybe in Africa.
In
That's more
Africa.
like a tribal thing. To be realistic, it's not an American thing. I don't think that in this structure of America that it would work. Maybe if we end up with a female president, over time it'll start to change. But I don't feel like men want to give up that power.
They will never give up. Once you have power, it is almost impossible to get somebody to willingly give it up. But Tia, let me ask you this question. Do you like men to pay all the bills?
Of course.
Okay.
But I feel like you can still have that with matriarchy because you're going to work for me. Like you're my little slave, you know?
Uh, so
See,
you
this
want
is why
female
I wanted to
supremacy.
have her on, because I knew she was gonna say something funny like that.
Tia is a mess.
She's
Tia
such
I
a
wants
mean,
mess.
female supremacy, period.
I know she
like
wants
you
female.
know,
Yeah, it's like
he
female
works for you, he
supremacy.
builds for you. I think in a sense it was like that before. Men worked for us, they built for us, they went out and hunted for us, to protect the women and the children, because you have to protect the leader. You have to protect the leader. The president is not fighting wars. The soldiers are doing it. There are little soldiers. What's wrong with that?
Okay, so you want the women to be in charge, but I want you to know, Tia, a matriarchy is never going to be in the cards. Nichole, do you think that matriarchy could ever be a thing? And I had actually looked it up this morning, you guys. I looked up matriarchy to see if there was ever an actual matriarchy that wasn't, that was clear. That wasn't like, oh, some historians say or some anthropologists say. There are things that are matrilineal. So we've got some communities where the property goes to the daughter instead of to the son, and also the lineage of the family, like in the case of the Jewish tradition, comes through the mother. But in both those cases, the men are still in charge. They're still making the laws. They're still, making the business decisions and all that stuff.
I think it's a country. It starts with the E. I don't want to say the name wrong. They're ran by a matriarchy.
Nichole, do you know of any functional matriarchies that exist?
I think it's one in Asia somewhere. It's like an obscure place somewhere. I heard of that. There's still yeah. I think it's
Small
a
tribe.
film. Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing with matriarchy. I don't want it because I know how cruel women are. And pretty privilege is reversed with women in charge. So you see how you all are so cute. If women are in charge and they look like a bulldog in the face, they are going to hate on you, Crystalline. They're going to hate on you, Tia. So I just want
That's
you to know that with men in charge, because you're cute, you get that pretty privilege. So I just want you to know,
oh my
without
god,
patriarchy, if you are cute,
brilliant.
I'm just saying.
So that's the thing. You just because we assume that women are going to be so benevolent and we're going to be so good to each other. Like we are so mean to each other. We're so catty to each other and
But I
competitive
think that's based on
and
men.
jealous. Really?
I believe that women are mean to each other based on the male gaze. It's because they want to be desired by other men.
You
Nine
don't
times
think
out
that
of
women
10,
love
when women
power
are
too?
catty, huh?
You don't think that women love power too, just in a different way that some women
I
love to
believe that
dominate?
women do love power, but I feel like it's easier for women to get along when there's no man involved.
So you think that looks will be completely irrelevant. So we will no longer. So the reason why we're jealous of each other, the reason why we compete with each other is for the male gaze. So if we eliminate the male gaze, then we will all just be like kumbaya.
I believe so because think about men. They're so ugly most of the time. Men are not really that attractive. Like it's rare for men to be attractive. Beauty is a woman thing. But also women feel like they have to be beautiful in order for them to be desired by men. So it's easier for you to, kind of become jealous of a pretty woman because she's going to get something that you can't obtain because she's more beautiful than you, which is a man.
Right.
If men
Well,
just worshiped all of us like how pygmies worship these men, if the men were being pygmies for us, then there would be no real reason for women to just hate each other so much.
I mean, well, look at the men in power. They still hate on each other and they have power.
Okay, you
It,
got a point.
I
nothing
mean,
reverses.
look at
Nothing.
Putin. Putin eliminates everybody. You
Yeah,
know.
nothing reverses. We're still women ultimately, biologically. So let's take a look at it. If we eliminate all the men, right? and women are in charge. You still have that element of women who like women. So now that's that energy
True.
floating around too. So now what if you don't
Right.
have that energy? So now you have all of this fighting against each other there's no men around. So I mean,
That's true.
men have power down, hate each other, get on each other's nerves, and hate on. We've seen that on YouTube where they
Oh
Mhm.
my
go at each other, and they're in
God.
charge.
Mhm.
Supposed.
Right. Okay.
So I just don't think the elimination of the other makes anything better. I think we can coexist on this planet, may not have to deal with each other for those that don't want to. There's a faction of women that do not want to have anything to do with men. But please understand, this finessing, him paying for my soft life, the courtesan life, the muse life, all of these other lives that you expect men to contribute to and take care of, that goes out of the window, babe. There's no pretty privilege. There's no
That's true.
flirt your way out of a traffic ticket. Because if we be careful what you ask for. Because if we want men, and I'm talking about good men, I'm never talking about dusties. Well, if we turn our backs on the good men and we make it, we don't want you around, then they really don't have to do anything. They don't have to marry us. For some
They
women,
don't
they
have to
do.
protect us. They don't have
Yes.
to. They don't have
Well,
to provide.
I don't want to get rid of the men. No, I don't. I feel like a matriarchy happens anyway if women really know their true power. I don't feel like it's something that has to be said.
Mm. Okay, so Nichole, you gave an excellent last word. Tia, I'm gonna give you a chance to get your last word in, and Nichole, you can come in and rebut, and then we'll conclude this. So, Tia, what's your last word?
Um, I don't know. I
Are
I'd
you
say
sad? Like, do you really want patriarchy to go away?
I don't. It
Be honest.
kind of. I To be honest, I just want women to know their true powers and to use them the proper way. I do feel like women lead men. You just don't lead them the same way that they believe that they lead you. I feel like it exists already anyway. It's just more in a feminine way. Like I don't feel like you have to be overly aggressive or assertive when it comes to men. Um they'll pretty much do whatever you want. But then again, I am pretty, so I don't know. I think Nichole makes a really good point with that because I don't know what I don't know how life would be, or maybe I'm speaking from a place of privilege. I can't imagine just not having that ability to get men to do whatever I want. I don't know what I would
Exactly,
do.
but that's what life would be like. And probably I'm going to say more masculine presenting women, like those will be the ones who are in charge. They'll be kind of like guys. They'll be kind of like dudes. They'll have that masculine leadership energy. You're never going
Hmm.
to get it. You're never going to get away from it. It's going to be it's that masculine energy is going to come from a man or it's going to come from a woman. It's because masculine energy is always going to be present. Nichole, I'm going to give you the final word. And Tia, do you have a YouTube channel, real quick? Where can people find you?
Um, I do, but I don't.
Okay,
I
well
don't have
we're
nothing.
gonna
So
set you up on a YouTube channel so you can get a
okay.
recording of this and you can post it. Nichole, you'll be able to do the same thing. Nichole, give us your final word. Now that it seems as if we've kind of got her thinking. Like when you think this
Yeah.
stuff through, it's kind of like, well. So Nichole, what do you think? You think we made some leeway between the youngins?
I think so. I think when she'll come around once she gets a little bit older and experience more life and gets tired of working, people start to see life a little bit different once they've been out here a little bit
Mhm.
longer, and experience the love of a good man. But for those women who are probably cursing me out listening to this, going, "Oh my God, she's a mammy. She loves men." I
She's a
absolutely
pick
love.
me.
Right. I absolutely love men because I don't like working hard. I think they have muscles and body mass to work hard. My job is to support him working hard and treat him good in the process of making me feel good about myself for being a woman. And I love it.
Mhm.
I
And
love being in my femininity. I love him showing up as his masculine part. I love how my husband takes care of me. That's how it should be. Unfortunately, it has not always been that way for Black women. We do not have to emulate 1950s traditionalism, but we can experience it. And of course, we don't have time to talk about how we can do that, which I'd love to talk about again, how we can actually implement traditionalism in the Black community. Is absolutely doable. And there are some steps that we have to take. It will not look exactly like other groups of people, but it will be for us, and like other groups are having their traditionalism and it fits their community. I think we can do that. And yeah, just totally reject dusty men. That shouldn't even be a focus. We should be focusing on, and I'm talking to the women who do want patriarchy, because most of you said you wanted it. Let's focus on the men that are showing up for us and who are communicating that they do want us. Let's see how we can merge that gap. We don't have to be enemies with them, because honestly, being enemies with men puts me in my masculine. Fussing about them all the time makes me postured, real stiff and argumentative and hard, and with my dukes up. And I don't like having my dukes up. I like being pretty. I like playing with my hair. I just, I don't want to fight with men. I want them to fight for me, not fight
exactly.
me. So
Right.
thanks for
I don't want
having
them
me.
to I don't want them to fight me. I want them to fight for me. I don't want to fight with them. I want them to fight for me. And I'm sorry, I do. I mean, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Call me whatever you want to call me. Bottom line is this. Give me benevolent patriarchy all day long. If it exists, I'm here. I'm available for that. I'm not available for oppressive patriarchy. I am available for benevolent patriarchy. Is that possible? Does it exist, you guys? Let's duke it out in the comment section. I know you guys have a lot to say. Thanks, Nichole Michelle, for joining. Thank you, Tia Beanie, for joining. You guys were great. And we're gonna keep this. We're gonna have this conversation again. We're gonna go into the layers, because I can tell there's gonna be a lot of commentary. There's gonna be some folks that are mad, but it is what it is. Think through what it is that you're asking for. And for those of you who want revolution, think about what the world would look like after the revolution is over. That's it for today. Thank you, Pink Pill subscribers, for joining, and I will see you next video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and take a look at Nichole and Michelle's channel. And if you resonate, make sure you subscribe there as well. All right, guys, until next time, pinkies up.